I was just like, well, Ruby would be an interesting one, because, like, if the androids of Nier found out that there was a version of humanity still alive, but they were currently under attack by an unending horde of white and black monsters trying to genocide them, the fucking Doom music would start playing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, as long as it's a surviving faction of humanity, it's all good for them. I really need to finish I really need to finish Nier
Automa?
Automata.
Yeah.
I'm still only halfway through it, I'm pretty sure. Just the normal endings, not even accounting for endings A through Z. But I need to get back to that game.
Fish are funny
What a
creatures.
load.
Fish are
Yeah,
funny
also I gotta
creatures
uh,
indeed.
but they are funny creatures. I like that video though, because it's like, what's more important? Monetary wealth that will gain you nothing, or people who actually give a shit?
Indeed. Also, so you know a very depressing fact I found out due to that video that, yeah, and by the way, I do watch you occasionally. She has some really stupid takes on Twitter, which is why I don't follow her Twitter at all. But when she does make videos, like 75% of the time, they're pretty on point.
Well, it's just because like I remember there was a time where they went um
They,
full-on psychotic.
yes, there was. Yes. I just didn't watch their videos at that point. Um, But no, I learned from that video because you just brought up the whole friend thing. So apparently there is a loneliness epidemic going around for men, in where 1 in 5 men of 2022 reported they had more than 5 close friends.
Yeah, I believe it.
I was like, fuck, I can count like 2, maybe. Yeah, it's rough. Anyway, gentlemen.
I might be able to count 4. Might.
Might.
Yeah, one of them I'm not all that certain on.
That's rough, man.
Yeah, it's one of those weird, like, we're closer than the rest of our group, but we also aren't in position to, like, reciprocate the friendship the way we might want to, I guess.
I guess. I mean, that works, but it's like, I mean, it's why I don't count Rob as a close friend. You know, because it's just
You
like,
just don't talk to him very often. You don't see him very often.
well, it's not just that. It's just that,
I think it's a little more than that.
no, yeah, it's way more than that. It's like he just doesn't put any effort into interacting with me. Like, if I ever want to talk to him, I have to go to him. And then when I do go to him, it's like a 10% chance he actually responds to my message. And then it's like a 30% chance after that that he'll respond to my message days later going, oh, dude, sorry, I had this vital method of communication just turned off for like weeks. It's like, oh, I'm sure you did, buddy.
Yeah, I understand that. I've tried to reconnect with a handful of people from my high school days, and it's like, well, you clearly don't give a shit
Yeah.
because I'm the only one reaching out.
I mean, like, I found out about one of my high school friends getting married like 4 years later.
Oh, wow.
From,
I mean,
yeah.
if my parents, listen, I'm in that saying, if my parents hadn't been friends with my parents' friends,
You
I
mean
wouldn't
your
have even
friend's
known 2 of them were
parents?
getting married.
You mean your friend's
Or my
parents,
friend's
right?
parents, sorry, yeah.
Well, yeah, but like, it's like, I was visiting a high school friend like 4 years after I graduated, and he was like, "Oh yeah, did you hear that blank got married?" I was like, "No, they haven't even talked to me since 2011."
Yeah. Yeah, I used to feel just like, man, I should really try to reconnect with these people. And I had the realization of like, wait, they never tried connecting with me in all this time either.
Now, to be fair though, I didn't have a phone until 2012.
Okay, I mean, Sneaky, that's kind of that does in fact make a fucking difference.
Yes, you're not wrong. I mean, I had a flip phone. It was actually, I had a flip phone since 8th grade, and then it was after I graduated that I actually had a real phone, the smartphone kind. So, I mean, it's like I understand that, but they all had my number. They could have called or texted me before then. It's just, they didn't.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's my same thing. Like, it is known in both my friend groups, I might just drop off the radar at any given moment for no reason, no bad reason whatsoever. I used to do that to Sneaky on the regular.
Yes, he did.
But I was always the first to reinitiate contact. Like, hey guys, I've been doing such and such. What's going on?
Yeah. It would be like 6 months, max force offline. They would just message me one day, just be like, "Yo, what's up?" Back. I'm like, "Oh, cool. Welcome back."
Yeah. None of my old friends from middle and high school, people that I considered close friends when I was that young.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Reaching out to me, not a single time.
Now, admittedly, there was that one girl that I did want to reach out to, but I forgot where she wrote her number.
Oh, fuck off with that.
Oh yeah, that's another one of your favorites.
And then I did reach out to her actually in like 2016. Only to find out. What? Oh no, she was still into me then, and I kind of panicked and hung up.
You shut the fuck up.
Oh, Sneaky. Never change.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I'll totally call you again, and then I hung up, and then I was like, oh fuck, I did not give her my new phone number. Now it's gonna be too awkward for me to call her back. I can't do that. That's gonna be awkward.
Did you
call
her with the new phone number?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Wow.
I also didn't have a Facebook, so I didn't make it easy for people to get in contact with me, but all the people that I wanted to get in contact with me, we shared Steam names, we shared Xbox Live tags, we shared, Skype names. Yeah. Like, they had methods to contact me reliably with.
Yeah. Fucking yearbook signings. I had phone numbers of people I considered good friends.
Yeah. It's what it is, I guess. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm always shocked when I happen to click on an email from Facebook, because fuck logging into that website.
Oh yeah, no, fuck that shit.
On my new computer rigs, but I'm like, oh hey, this person's birthday's coming up. Wow, I no longer recognize you.
Yeah.
And then there's others like, wow, you aged really gracefully in 12 years. Good for you.
Wow, they got fat.
No, that would be people's reaction to me, probably.
Yeah, it'd be people's reactions to me as well, probably a little bit.
Oof.
Cause I was like 180 for my entire high school career, and then when I got into college, I went up to 260. But I mean, it's not like I was eating more. Definitely wasn't eating more. Probably stress. Oh god. Anyway, so let's talk about less stress-inducing things, like really shitty fan fiction, right, fellas?
That induces a lot of fucking stress.
I'm sure it does, Mr. Paid Smut Writer.
Yeah, that induces some stress.
You've
seen how many months behind I am.
Attending these I have not, but attending these podcasts.
Oh, it's great.
Cannot be good for your overall anxiety with writing.
What are you talking about? It's totally a motivator for him.
Because I can look at it and go, "Hey, I'm better than all these fuckers."
I mean, to be fair, that's right? It's like,
A really low bar, man.
Yeah, it's a low bar, but
Oh,
it
did
is
you
a
guys
bar,
hear?
and I'm clearing it.
Did you guys hear the news? Fanfiction's getting a purge!
Maybe. It may not be.
Hopefully.
So,
Let the
getting a what?
fires rain down!
I already have some people
Oh.
molding another server about
Oh,
this.
wait. There's another purge coming?
Oh,
No.
yes.
Maybe.
Theoretically.
Cambrian got
this
Cambrian
is the
got
first one
nuked. Cambrian got nuked from fanfiction.net, so people are fearing a purge.
That's
Yo,
based.
no, I welcome it. It'll be the first
Yeah.
one in like 7 or 8 years.
Based. Purge all
Actually,
of it.
yeah, I
Just
think
re-upload all my shit.
I think
All of it can
2016 was
burn.
the last purge.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And then before that was
Fanfiction's already
2012.
dead.
Everything I've got is untouched, so I'm
yeah,
not
but the
complaining.
thing is that fanfiction is dead not because of anything like, fanfiction related, but because the incoming generation's fucking illiterate and
Yeah.
spending more than 10 minutes reading a story is 9 minutes more than they want to do.
Yeah.
We've had that discussion before.
Yeah.
Yep.
It just recently I was interacting in the vicinity of my little brother who is interacting with his friends, and well, one of them said that the book they were trying to read was too long, so they read 2 chapters of it and went on Spark Notes for the rest.
Off.
Yep. I was just like, wow. A, that explains why basically nothing's getting fanfiction these days. B, the reason why the big, 5 are getting so much fanfiction is because back in the day, you heard about shit through word of mouth, right? And there was only so many things from Japan ported over. So, the only anime 95% of the air quotes weebs would see is One Piece, Bleach, Naruto, Inuyasha, and whatever else played on Robot Chicken during that time period. That was it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so, of course, they got a massive fan base. Oh, we have Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And so, of course, all those things got massive fan bases behind them because that was it. How were you going to hear about obscure manga number 99, never got published in Shonen Jump, it's got 2 chapters fan translated on sketchy manga website? How do you get excited about that kind of story? You can't. You literally can't.
My personal favorite was the sketchy manga websites that you felt like you were going to get a virus just looking at the name of the website.
Oh god,
Yeah.
yes.
Totally
Yeah.
free
private
manga.ru.
Yeah. Or extra super free manga.cn.
Yeah.
Private
you
checkers
know-
were so great.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I'm real glad Manga Fox existed for as long as it did.
Yeah,
I don't know if
Manga
it's still
Fox was
around.
great. Manga Fox was amazing. Is it Manga Reader now? They brought it back effectively. It's one of those websites, and the whole fucking system super fancy now. Uses a shit ton of Java to operate, but it's actually really classy.
Oh yeah, that shit. But it's got the ads baked in, so if you try to kill the ads, it kills their entire Java
Oh
process.
well,
and it doesn't work.
actually, if you kill the ads correctly, you never really see anything. Just be less
apparently
garbage
having
sign.
The problem. Fuck off.
But yeah, oh yeah, my bad. Dragon Ball Z as well, right? But point being, so and then you get these books. What book was big for our generation? Harry Potter. And then for women,
Yeah.
Warrior Cats.
No, Twilight.
No, well, Twilight came later. Warrior Cats has like 76 books to it.
I've never heard of it, but okay.
Oh, it's literally anytime I ever met a girl in 1st through 12th grade that read books, it was Guardians of Ga'Hoole and Warrior Cats.
Holy shit, Guardians of Ga'Hoole.
Guardians of
heard of that one
Ga'Hoole, honestly, it's a great series. Not great to read now as a full adult, but as a kid, amazing series. And then on top of that, some of the shit they threw into the later books, it's just like... It's like kind of dark in the first couple books, but a lot of the books are just about friendship through the power of friendship, adventure, and happiness. We'll beat the bad guy and save the day. And then they get into some intense, crazy shit of like pouring molten metal on the bad guy and watching him burn to death, only actually because they didn't check the body, he comes back later on with a melted metal face now and like fucking rips apart the main character's friend in front of him. It's like, holy fuck.
Oh yeah, no, that
Dark.
He like bombs the dude's fire. He basically bombs Hogwarts.
Fire bombing.
Yeah, they fucking bombed the equivalent of Hogwarts with all the kids inside, and it's like, Jesus Christ.
And they're like, yes. They're like, you see, we found this way to make magic coal. Like magical embers that never stop burning.
Oh yeah,
and
the
so then we
ever-burning
can drop
embers,
them
yeah.
from the sky on our enemies or throw them into our enemies' nests.
Yeah, it was some
Oh,
fucking...
you make Greek fire.
It was some wild fucking
No,
shit.
not can't be extinguished. Like literally like the black flames from Inuchiha.
Yeah.
Like
Amaterasu.
Yeah.
literally will not stop
whatever.
burning except green instead of black.
Yeah, it was some wild. It was some crazy shit, dude. Like, as a kid, I remember reading the first books as like in like 4th grade or whatever, and then I get to like 8th grade and like the last books are coming out. It's like, oh, let me go and finish up this series. I remember reading this as a kid. I was just, Jesus fucking, like, the main bad guy's like Geneva Convention. There will be one when I'm done.
Woo.
Like, fucking genocide is happening. They're like rounding up the mice and executing them. It's like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah. What was it? They were like shitting on pygmy elves.
Oh yeah, pygmy owls.
Because
Yeah,
you're not a real elf,
owl.
or you're not a real owl. You're stuck on the ground.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my, yeah. It was some crazy shit going on in those books, man. They were good though. For their time period, they were good.
They were an event. I'll give you that.
Yeah. But like, that was the books that were out. And then if you were a little bit more of a bibliophile, you read probably like Forgotten Realms books, a lot of YA trash that like basically no one ever wrote fan fiction for because everyone was too busy having delusions of them in the story and then never got around to writing anything because they could never really actually piece together what kind of story it would be besides literally just the story but them inside it instead, because that's what most YA trash ended up being.
I feel attacked.
Well, maybe
That sounds like a personal problem.
Yeah, that sounds like a personal problem.
Try not being shit.
I tried and it was hard.
Yeah,
Yeah, we noticed.
indeed.
Oof.
What did I just come back to?
Oh, we're
They're,
just
they're,
fucking...
they're shit-talking sign.
We're just ragging on Sign.
We're not saying anything he doesn't already know.
Yep.
Yeah, I do appreciate how that's become like a small pastime of this stream, though.
Bully Sign.
Dicks.
Oh, don't act like it's not making you horny. We've seen what you
I know.
Anyway. But yeah, like to wrap the point around, yeah, again, the next generation is just fucking illiterate. What big amazing books have come out for Gen Z? Nothing.
For Gen Z or during the time of Gen Z?
During Gen Z's growing up.
You mean aimed at Gen Z?
Yeah, you know, where's Gen Z's Harry Potter?
I want to say it's going to be Percy Jackson.
No, it was Harry Potter.
No, Harry Potter is Gen,
Yes.
whatever. The millennials.
That's my point.
Fuck.
Yeah. That's my point. There is no big series that came out for Gen Z because you know what? PJO was still the millennial generation.
Oh God.
And since nobody's reading, because reading's not cool,
yeah,
and it's not
effectively.
a,
Well,
2-minute
let's be clear. There's
TikTok
two different
clip.
problems here. First, it's that reading isn't cool, but in addition to reading not being cool, there's another problem, which is that schools kill reading.
Yeah, schools assign these
Yes.
retarded books that aren't fun to read and like have no point to them, and then the teacher blathers on about why they think the curtains are blue because it represents the author being depressed, and you're just like, I was just reading about him being beaten as a child. I'm pretty sure that's why he's depressed, not the curtains being blue.
It's just a fucking curtain. It doesn't have any underlying symbolic significance, you hack.
Yeah. So it's just like they ruin the idea of reading, and then on top of that you have digitalization, which means a lot of people that used to keep going to bookstores, the adults namely, because they had the ones with the most disposable income, and that was what the majority of the store was dedicated to, because I still remember going into Barnes & Nobles and Borders, and a large majority of those stores was dedicated to magazines and books adults would buy, and I'm not just talking about porn, I'm just talking about adult books about like midlife crisis shit.
Yeah,
but
I would
turn
say
into a fantasy
midlife
story.
crisis stuff. Map atlases.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, and but so it's like
or like again, unironically, like travel advisory books.
Yeah, the
There
dummy
is
books,
almost-
the higher tier fiction books that were talking more about economics and like political shit that a kid wouldn't typically get. And then typically the bookstores was a majority of adults. Like fucking hell, I even remember that shit of where they're like, hey, so we're gonna put cafes in our bookstores so the adults can sit there, buy books, eat food, read more books, buy more books, and they can bring their kid in, and the kid can go to the play area.
Yeah, I would say the kid can go to the play area, or the kid can go to the
Kids reading area. They
Yeah.
usually had.
Yeah, kids reading area. But that was like a small section of the store. It was like the kids reading area, and then like the two shelves right next to the kids reading area was a teenage area, and then the rest of the fucking store was just adult shit.
Well, they did have a pretty big manga section when that
Later,
really
yeah.
got popular.
Yeah, later on. But still, it was a majority of adult focused, and then with the digitalization of everything, a lot of adults were just like, why don't I just buy the book digitally? And then I can have all of my books on this tablet thing that I also bought with my disposable income.
I said I would never switch to digital. I had a huge book collection.
I had a
said I'd never
massive book
switch to
collection.
digital because, with the potential of them just randomly rewriting all your shit and
Oh yeah,
force
I know
uploading,
exactly. Yeah,
removing it, and I went to digital, and nothing has seen me sadder than the bookstores closing. Yeah.
yeah.
But here's the thing, right? Part of the reason bookstores closed is because, unfortunately for a bookstore, they just couldn't offer a good enough product, right? Like,
well, the thing is ultimately a bookstore is self-defeating. Because eventually a person will run out of books they are interested in buying. And especially if the person is coming in for nonfiction stuff, only so much nonfiction stuff is being published, and eventually, if your interest is in medieval history, there's only so many medieval history books you can buy before you run out of books you can buy. Obviously, fiction enjoyers will have more books they can potentially buy, but I remember this distinctly in my senior-ish year of high school. I was going into the bookstores and I was coming home with less and less books because the shit that they were publishing was just getting lower and lower quality. And it was like
part of it.
Yeah.
A big part of it for me was that all the bookstores nearby all fucking closed except for the Walmart, which carried trash books.
Right.
So I'd have to drive 30, 40, 50 miles to a bookstore.
And it became more and more effort to go to a bookstore, which caused more and more bookstores to close.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's just the thing. Like I said, it's a large combination of factors, but ultimately it led to Gen Z not coming in to read stories, and so word of mouth didn't spread, and so all they did was they would go online, they would look at big favorite book, and it's like, all right, well, it's Harry Potter, it's Twilight, it's Percy Jackson, and so they read the big favorite book, because why waste time reading a book that you've never seen before? Because back in our day, that's what you did. You looked at the cover, you looked at the summary, and you're like, all right, decent title, decent summary, all right cover, I'm interested. And, that's literally how I got into the newsfeed series. It was back during the big zombie hype era for books. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And everyone's writing a fucking zombie book. But I see the newsfeed series, and it's I look at it, it's got a little fucking antenna symbol on it. I'm like, okay, and I pull it out, and the cover is very plain. It's not trying to be excessive, oh, look at all the zombies on here. It's like a blood splattered metal grate for a cover, and it's called Newsfeed. But it's spelled, but it's written in blood, and it's implied, blah blah blah. And the summary is what would a zombie virus be like in a world like ours? Unlike every other zombie world, which has never apparently heard of zombie fiction, our world has had plenty. So when the zombie virus actually comes, are we going to be ready for it?
The answer to that is hilariously. We will be hilariously overprepared.
The answer that's what the book ultimately settled on was we would be ready for it, because we have a lot of different kinds of zombies, and so at first people would be trying to figure out what kind of zombies we're dealing with here and how to handle it, and the intricacies of the cause of the zombies and etc., which caused a lot of problems. But ultimately it was our generation, the millennials, and their blogging because blogging was big back then, and the blogging that we did.
Oh, blogging.
And that ultimately, because all the mainstream news stations and their centralized inability to be mobile in a zombie apocalypse, they all collapsed. And so the news bloggers were the only ones who were capable of staying mobile and still covering the news about how to, take care of wounds, how to get food, etc., etc.
To be fair, that sounds like today's streamers.
Yeah, it kind of is. And so the bloggers took over, and the reason why it's called Newsfeed is because RSS was kicking off around that time as well, and yada yada yada. And honestly, it was actually a really good series. But the title, the summary, the simple cover, that's what got me interested. And modern day, Gen Zers would be like, oh, what's that? It doesn't have over 10,000 reviews. It's not worth my time. And that's why they all play Fortnite, or especially if you go to Twitch, it's a very major herd mentality of where if you see people starting to leave a stream, you can actually watch the view count drop live of people leaving the stream because they see other people leaving the stream, so they just assume other people saw something they didn't, so it's no longer cool to watch this stream.
Yeah.
That's fucking stupid.
Oh, very much stupid. But it's the same. It's like it's why Fortnite is so played. It's because everyone's playing it, so obviously you should play it too. They're not playing it because it's a good game, which admittedly it is somewhat now, especially no build mode. That was cancer. No build mode was cancer. But you know, back then, its main popularity was that people played it, not because it was a good game, but because people played it. Can you imagine fucking any of us playing like Halo 2, but it has the same level of microtransactions as Fortnite?
Oh no.
Fuck no.
Exactly. Back then, you got cool armor from doing cool shit. Now you get cool armor for your dad having a good enough job so you can swipe a credit card. But yeah, ultimately that all culminates into why Gen Z has absolutely no literary capabilities, and why they are just going back to what all the millennials enjoy as culturally, because that's the culturally popular thing, because the Gen Z generation is actually significantly smaller than millennials. Because, you know, millennials don't have kids.
Oof.
So instead of, with each generation taking over the culture after enough time passes, instead millennials are looking to be dominating the culture for a significantly long period of time, because all of Gen Z would have to buck the trend of millennials not having kids and have a bunch of kids to ever hope to culturally overtake the millennial culture.
Well, I've heard Gen Z is doing a lot of bucking trends with between them and the millennials. So
yeah, they're
maybe
doing a
we'll...
lot of bucking trends where they take sterilizing hormones. So
yeah, there are those. Unfortunately.
Okay, you're not wrong, but you gotta also remember, a lot of them don't want to have fucking kids for reasons that are even more valid than when we didn't want to have a kid.
That's
Why
fair.
would I
Also
pay?
true.
Why would I pay to bring, right? For us, it was, why on earth would I get married, right? Like, I listen to the people at my company who are married and have kids, and I'm like, boy, that just sounds like an expensive way to complain.
No. Let's be real here, Adam. The real reason why a majority of millennials don't have kids is because the divorce rate among millennial parents is 60-some%.
Oh yeah, it's
And
bad.
so a
It's
lot
higher.
of millennial kids grew up watching their parents argue and scream at each other and ultimately separate, and that obviously traumatized a large portion of millennial kids, going, why would I ever get married then? If that's what I have to look forward to in marriage.
And that's completely fair.
You're right, but like, let's be honest, the horrible economic conditions that we saw growing up, like,
oh yeah, no, obviously, and then on top of that, it's like all the boomers are like, lol, just get a home, just get a job. When I was 12, I had $17,000 in salary per month, and I bought my home when I was first 14.
Get fucked, boomer.
yeah.
But
That shit ain't cheap.
yeah, well, it's because of the boomers that shit ain't cheap.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's unfortunately the Gen Zers are fucked. They have no culture. All they're getting culture-wise is like the hashtagified, leet-speaked dregs of millennial culture.
I would say they seem like a prime, ripe target audience for, you know, a new big series like Harry Potter, but the problem is they don't fucking read, so...
Well, no, the main issue is that they are primed to be major fans of a new big series, but the series has to be big for them to be fans of it, because otherwise they're just wasting their time.
It's catch-22.
Well, yeah, exactly. Pretty much is my point. And that's why so many corporations these days are just rehashing a bunch of old shit, because they're like, oh, well, it was popular back then, and which means it carries the name, which means people will go see it if we make more of it now.
Well, that and it's relying on clout.
Also,
Basically.
all the writers are hacks and have absolutely no idea how to make a fucking original story for their lives. But
that is a big part.
yeah, I haven't noticed any drop in quality since the writers went on strike.
They're relying on member berries. They know you saw this, like Star Wars, right?
Yeah,
They know you saw the original Star Wars and maybe even episodes 1, 2, and 3, depending on when you were born.
yeah.
And they were hoping that all of that would mean that these next 3 movies would be great. And then, oh wait, they turned around and went, you know what? Fuck those people. We've got them. They're gonna come see it anyway. We're aiming for this new audience.
The wider
So let's put in what they want. The
audience.
mythical wider audience. Yes.
Yeah, the mythical wider audience.
And we saw what happened with that. It crashed the curve.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, it's unfortunate because I'm just kind of being proven right these days. Like the newest fucking, I sent Max this a while back. It was a clip from Marvel Invaders, Space Invaders, or whatever the fuck it was called.
Is that some kind
Secret
of
Invasion or
knockoff?
something?
Oh, Secret Invasion.
Yeah, Secret Invasion. That was either a TV show or a movie.
TV.
Okay, TV show. Right. I sent Max a clip, and it's like this fucking. They introduced a new character who's stronger than Captain Marvel, can Hulk out like the Hulk, except not as much, and she doesn't lose her mind, and she can shoot lightning bolts like Thor, and she can shoot laser beams, and she can like move faster than sound, and she's like this total super badass that has no weaknesses at all, and she like just kills all the villains with like witty one-liners.
Whose fucking Mary Sue is this?
Some
Captain
kid
Marvel.
from like 10 years ago
Yeah,
who wrote it on Wattpad.
yeah. Literally.
There was a tweet who made that
Yeah.
comment. Like, I made this in Wattpad years ago. It's like,
I made
I-
this when I was
remember you
13 on Wattpad. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you sending me that clip, and I believe my response was, "Why did they make a TV show for one of the most mediocre movies to come out of the MCU?"
Yeah. It's just, I don't know, man. It's just,
Like, it's not a bad movie, but it's not a good movie either. It's like almost a perfect 5 on 10
yeah. Which,
somehow.
it's honestly terrible, actually. When you're spending $600 million to make a movie, it should be a 5 out of 10. It's like going
Honestly-
to a steakhouse and ordering a steak that costs $120, and then you get it and you eat it, and you're like, well, it's edible.
It's a chili
The
steak.
response should never be, "I probably could have made this at home."
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
I could have made the last Marvel's movie at home with better props and a fucking phone camera. Probably would have had a better story too. Like it's fucking bad. And so, you have all these fan fiction writers who, congratulations, they are actually turning around and going, why am I writing a 700k word Harry Potter fan fiction that is completely AU and almost not related to Harry Potter at all? Why am I not just making this an original story? And it's like, congratulations, you've realized what I've been saying for literally years. And then they get hired because they unfortunately knew somebody or sucked someone's dick who knew somebody. And now they're writers. And they didn't change their writing habits at all. They're still writing fan fiction, but now it's being published with a $600 million budget.
Man, I should offer my services to replace some of these people striking on the Writers Guild.
Yeah,
nah, you're too based.
Yeah,
They won't let you in.
They wouldn't let you in. You don't fuck enough children, I'm sorry.
Oof.
Yeah, so you haven't raped enough women or fucked enough children to replace the current Writers Guild.
What's your drugging score? How many
Yeah,
women? You
Yeah,
hit?
what?
None.
For the interview process, please guide us through how you drug up women at the bar. What's your
Entirely
Aussie
too
dropping
close to real
style?
Is that strike still going, by the way?
Yes.
Yeah. I hope
Did these writers-
I hope they
did
all
these
I
burn.
writers
think UPS
realize
is also
that
striking.
No. What?
No, UPS averted the
isn't
strike.
striking.
Yeah.
They negotiated.
Yeah, they negotiated.
The fuck you on about, Sign?
Old
Anyways,
info.
the writers don't realize the execs can absolutely outlast them.
Oh, so I honestly I hope it's a case where they kill each other.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
I know it's not gonna happen.
Wish in one
The
hand.
writers are the only ones who are gonna suffer.
No, yeah.
And like,
I mean, don't get me wrong. If at least one of them suffers, I'm happy. But like my dream scenario is I wake up tomorrow and I hear how everyone in the writers' strike strapped bombs to their chest and blew up Hollywood. I would just be like, holy shit, I must be in a coma. This is such a good day.
Yes.
Nice.
yeah, God. I love my friends dearly, but one of them was like, no wonder TV is so mediocre when the writers are paid poorly. I'm just like, that has nothing
That
to do
doesn't
with
know
it.
that.
No, it does not.
Sorry.
No, you
yeah,
know what?
it has no.
No.
I would
that's
say the
because all
writers are
woke.
overpaid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the
It's a
writers
whole,
are
it's a whole
fucking
menagerie of
overpaid.
issues.
They're being paid too much. What's
Like-
currently going on?
Like, look at Netflix and their Witcher series. Like, the entire writing board has no respect for the franchise.
Oh well, that's just because they gave the property
No,
to
no,
a
I
woman.
would say that's entirely that's a different thing. Like,
Wow.
Yeah, no. The
The
problem
director
is,
and everyone else were against that one, and the only person actually standing up for it was Henry Cavill.
yeah, the whole reason why The Witcher ended up sinking is because the writers it was given to and the director didn't look at The Witcher as a property they could make $1 million easy monies off of. They looked at The Witcher as a property they could use as a springboard to tell us their Wattpad fanfiction fantasy.
No, worse, they looked at it and they went, I need to use this platform to spread the message.
Well, no, to be fair, there wasn't too much message spreading in The Witcher. It was a lot more Wattpad romance fantasy.
I heard Blood Origins got really stupid and kind of woke.
Yeah, they got really stupid because all of the elves are black people now, and actually they invented everything, and they're the source of magic. And actually,
well, okay, no, hang on. The elves inventing everything and being the source of magic is actually part of The Witcher.
not
them being the source of magic.
no, not really. No.
Well,
no.
the magic one's kind of weird, but them having invented everything sort of technically true since they were there first.
No, there wasn't magic casters before the constellation, the
conjunction.
Yeah.
Right, my bad. The conjunction of spheres. There wasn't a lot of magic going on before the dick elongated, but once that did happen, it was more of like a Shadowrun style scenario of, oh, these people just now have magic. It wasn't like, oh, we need elves to teach us magic. It's like, no, these humans, they were doing some sort of freaky cult shit, and then suddenly one of them shot a fireball. It's like, oh. That's kind of awkward, to be honest. You know, it's almost as awkward as finding out you're a bard. You insult someone one day and they just have a fucking heart attack and die.
I would literally kill myself and anyone else who learned that, just to be safe.
I am the anti-bard! I will hunt down every bardic mage! This power is too great for any one person to wield.
That's gonna bring parents almost as much shame as telling them you're a rogue.
So, Mom, one day I snuck up behind someone and then they just exploded. I think I'm a rogue.
Not in this goddamn house, you aren't.
The barbarian father crushes the can. Not in this house.
Dwarven father.
You're gonna pump
Not
that
in this
strength
house, you
stat,
ain't.
and you're gonna like it. Mom, Dad, I'm a sorcerer. What?
Oh,
Turns
you're
to
a
wife.
fancy dancy
No.
caster, are ya?
No, it's no. Having a
No,
sorcerer
Mom,
baby.
Dad, I'm a sorcerer. Father's head slowly starts rotating to mother.
Yeah, literally, it's the baby is black meme.
Oh
It's the-
no.
He's a what, honey?
No,
Now,
no, no.
to be fair, a legitimate defense is my great grandfather fucked a dragon.
Yes. Now, yeah. To be fair, a majority of sorcerers are the descendants of the descendants of the descendants of the descendants of the half dragons, the half tieflings, etc., etc.
That just happened to cough up the right amount of genetic fuckery.
They had enough mojo jojo to keep going.
Yeah. Mom, Dad, I'm a warlock.
Oh, Jesus. It's just a phase! It's not a phase, Mom!
No, Mom, Dad, I'm a druid.
No, hang on. At
Being a
least
druid-
druids can do cool stuff. Like, Mom, Dad, I'm a druid. Okay, at least that means the kid can, like, call thunder.
So how much of your druid weed are you smoking?
Okay, but it's like, okay, but hold on. It's like, okay, so this is the D&D high school, right? Obviously the jocks are barbarians. Duh.
And fighters and paladins.
I would say fighters and paladins are the more normal kids who just like working out. Or
Yeah.
or other religious types. I'm specifically talking about the jocks, the guys who are just like crush beer can on head.
Okay, yeah, okay, those are barbarians.
Yeah. And then obviously the nerds are the wizards.
Drama club are
Bards.
the fucking bards and sorcerers.
Yes, bards and sorcerers, because they're all fucking both of them are drama queens.
All running off of charisma.
Obviously, the vegan environmentalists are all the druids. The emo kids get replaced by warlocks and rogues. Actually, no, you know what? The emo kids are the warlocks. The kid that's gonna
Yes.
shoot up the school is the rogue.
Oh, yes.
It's not like you're
who's
wrong.
the ranger?
Who's the ranger?
Sports kids? With the track
No.
or whatever?
Gym teachers.
No, I feel like the ranger is the kid whose parent. The ranger either is the crazy survival prepper or his parents are the crazy survival preppers.
That's fair.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why does your trunk have a machete, caltrops, a bag of nails, a compass, a water purification tent?
Because I'm a Winchester.
You shut the fuck up.
Am I wrong?
I feel like someone would slap him for that.
I'm sorry, Side, you don't get the joke.
No,
Get the joke?
Oh, you don't get the joke.
No. It's a joke limited to people.
It's the inner circle joke. Don't worry
Yeah,
about
the inner
it.
circle. It need not concern you, mortal.
What are you gonna do if somebody attacks us anyway? Glare at them, bore them to death? Amy broke the silence, not to make conversation, but to dig at me. I set my jaw, trying not to grind my teeth. She did not know enough about me to make anything really cut. Compared to Emma, she was like a particularly nasty kitten. I brought my hand out of my pocket, showing her the pepper spray. I quickly shoved it back in, and it clacked against the
Oh.
phone Mark gave me. I did not like having it, but he was right about it being safer. See, man, early Taylor, I kind of just want to punch her in the face repetitively.
Yeah.
She was such a fucking moralizer for like 99% of the story. And then she finally shot that kid and stopped being a moralizer. And then became a justifier.
Which is just an ex post facto moralizer.
Yeah, but they're more fun to be around.
Unless you're getting shot at.
Well, yeah. Amy had stopped. I turned around to face her. What? I curled on myself a bit, knowing that she was just going to be more mean, and it had only been a week, but I knew the look. I feel so safe, she drawled as she caught up to me, sarcasm dripping into her words. When some drugged-up retard comes firing, I'm sure that will stop them. Totally. Don't, I snapped. That's really reductive language. It trivializes mental illness, and Amy laughed in my face. I shut up, reddening face lit up under the halogen glow of street lamp. Okay, so I'm reading. That's some weird language.
Reductive.
I'm serious. Ugh, you don't need to remind me of that. Maybe if you took that stick out of your ass, you'd make a friend or two, and I wouldn't have to look at you moping every day. I barely registered what she said afterwards, blinking out tears. Panacea channeling burn scar here with all that fire. Yes. Honestly, that's just Panacea normally. It's just the fandom doesn't quite understand that she's a grumpy little bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's canon Amy. They like to woobify her.
Honestly, all of Taylor's kills were justified except that guy that she shanked in Cauldron HQ. Funny enough, she cares about that one the least. That's fair. Also, pretty much anyone in Cauldron HQ probably deserved it anyway.
Yeah, that whole place is a write-off.
But I mean, like, yes, I understand why shooting the baby was necessary. But
You could have had second thoughts at least.
Why shooting the baby was necessary.
Because I said so. I mean, that's essentially what it is.
it was one of the K-53s invading Cauldron. Yeah, exactly. Look, anyone involved. Okay. Yeah, but like literally anyone involved with Cauldron, including the K-53s. Like, I'm sorry. I just,
They can catch a bullet.
yeah. It's like, I'm sorry, the world's fucking ending, and you're like, yes, now is time to take my revenge. Like, really, dude? Can we wait for one of us to win? Preferably the side that doesn't want to blow up the Earth?
No.
But, yeah, I mean, there's a lot going for Taylor in terms of the people that she actually killed ended up actually deserving it. But she does a fuckload of moralizing early on. Oh, I'm better than these girls for not using my powers to get revenge on them. I'm such a good person. It's like, okay, congratulations.
I don't want to stoop to their level.
Yeah, I don't want to stoop to their level. It's like, yeah, congratulations, you're not a fucking garbage shit heap. Doesn't mean you can't use your bugs to, like, I don't know, not be there?
Yeah.
I don't know, make the roach infestation so bad in the school that it gets canceled while it has to get fumigated. And during that time period, you convince your dad to let you take the online high school exam, and then you're out of fucking Winslow. It's not complicated shit. For someone who's apparently as clever as Taylor is, because she's apparently fucking clever, that's what we're told.
But Sneaky, that would require Taylor actively doing something to change her situation instead of complaining about it and asking everyone else around her to do something.
Let me kill the dude that counters path to victory while Sion has path to victory. Okay, I understand where you're coming from. But they weren't really doing all that great against Sion before that. So it's like, yes, did it make things worse? Potentially. Were things already getting worse? Yes. But yeah, no, I don't like Taylor. I don't like early Taylor. Early Taylor. She's the sort of person that would be like, all lives matter. We can't. I know he murdered an entire family and then raped their corpses, and then took a baby and put it in a blender and then force-fed it to, like, the dog, which he then raped to death. But his life matters. That's early Taylor. It wasn't until reality literally took a bat to her that she was like, oh, you know, maybe some people do deserve to be shot.
Interesting.
But, anyway, let's read fanfiction, gentlemen. Now that we're done discussing why this show will never get better, and why there'll be nothing new ever coming out that will ever take off quite like anything else has, to the point where it actually has a fanfiction community behind it. Because, you know how many people are going to write Baldur's Gate fanfictions? 3?
To be fair, I don't know that it needs fanfiction yet.
Well, I mean, you understand. Okay, so we have 852 stories. Okay. How many in the past month? 5. All languages, all ratings, updated in the past month. 5. So in the past, since this fucking site has been existing, so that's been over, what would you say, son? 20 years now? The site's been active for?
Not quite that long. Wait. Oh, God. Damn it. Sneaky cursive.
He's gotta love bullying him with cursive ages. It's great.
Yes, that is exactly what earlier and late Taylor are like. Yes. Yeah. But yeah, so 5 stories in the past month. You have to sort that by date. You filter that out by date.
Oh, God, those tags.
Do I even want to know what the tags are?
Freeform, posted from Tumblr, cross-posted from Quotev, adoption of the reluctant kind.
Crossovers and fusions. Crack fusion, past abuse, humor, strong language, canon typical violence, blood and violence, cross post, blah, 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 blah. FNAF, Five Nights at Freddy's, Baldur's Gate.
Wait,
No.
oh shit, you're right! Gregory from Five Nights at Freddy's! Glam Rock Freddy! I completely ignored those!
Sneaky's brain edited them to try to protect the host.
Literally, though. I just wanted to find the amount of fics. The fic, it was just a random crop. Yeah, I know, it's like 800 fics if I don't sort by date. but Baldur's Gate's been out since like 1993. Um, 1998.
Oh God.
Developed by BioWare.
Oh yeah, they did do that, didn't they?
Wow. I'm about to throw some heavy names at you guys. Next one, developed by Snowblind Studios. Next one, Black Isle Studios.
All dead now.
All dead now.
Pandemic Studios.
Yep, Black Isle Studios, purchased by Interplay, shut down in 2003. Damn. Known for Fallout 2, Planescape Torment, Icewind Dale 2, Baldur's Gate. We almost had a No fucking way. Van Buren and Baldur's Gate 3 and Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 3 were all shut down projects by Interplay due to them shutting down Black Isle in 2003.
Yep.
Not surprised.
Now let's see, Snowblind. Yep, went out of business in 2012 after they got bought by Monolith Productions.
One of my personal favorites is the fact that Fallout 3, well, it was going to be Fallout 3, Van Buren, was like 85% done, and they
shut it.
canned
Yeah, I can't believe that too. It is so fucking. Can you imagine Fallout 3 coming out and it's just a sequel to Fallout 2? It's still.
Van Buren was a lot more than that.
Was it FPS or was it still gonna be isometric?
No, it was gonna be a weird combination of the two.
Oh yeah, that's right.
In fact, yeah, I was gonna say if you go to the Fallout wiki and pull up Fallout Van Buren is a trip. In fact, I suggest we go look through some of it.
Maybe. But I mean, it's just kind of like bought out by fucking Warner Bros. All right, what did they release? Top Gear, Baldur's Gate, Justice League Heroes, and Lord of the Rings: War in the North. That's right, that was their final game.
That was, in fact.
Wow. Alien vs. Predator, Tron 2, Matrix Online, Fear, Condemned. Oh shit, Condemned! Ho ho ho!
They made Fear.
They made Fear, Monolith Productions, yeah. Fear, Fear 2, Condemned, Condemned 2, Guardians of Middle-earth, Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor, Middle-earth, Shadow of War. Fucking serious? They're making a Wonder Woman game?
You're surprised?
Yeah, kind of.
It's cash cow. They gotta milk that teat.
What cash cow? There's no cash cow in Wonder Woman.
They've got IP. It's intellectual property. They have to find a way to milk it.
They have the IP. That doesn't mean there's cash in it.
They have an
True.
IP. They must attempt to generate value.
Yeah, that's what
That's fair. Now, only if Warner Brothers would do that with their other things they have IPs for, like Ruby.
Yeah. Only way that's happening. Only way that can happen is if they just leave Ruby in the hands of.
So you guys all heard, right? That Ruby is trying to. That Rooster Teeth is trying to make VTuber Ruby a thing?
That's a bad idea.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah. They just released the Ruby's introduction to VTubing video.
Oh Jesus! They can't be this stupid. I mean, they can. I know they
They
can.
absolutely can be.
They
And,
are.
They
you know,
are.
I said this on Signed Server, and I fully back this. Rooster Teeth could have been the first EN VTuber group for Ruby. If they had Season 3 happen, and at the end of Season 3, well, honestly, Season 2 would have been better. So they have Season 2 happen, and then between Season 2 and Season 3, they come out with Team Ruby, but they're all VTubers, and they just do VTubing stuff. I mean, mostly you could probably do chatting, but maybe you would want to do more achievement hunter than playing games with each other. So you could use the just chatting streams to drop lore for Ruby's world. And then that way you could focus the show on just having the fight scenes that Monty always wanted to do without having to try and fit the lore into it. And then you can just have the VTubing shit be where the lore comes from.
That sounds like such a horrible fucking idea, though. As a supplemental, yes. As this is where you get the lore, no. That sounds fucking awful.
Okay, but let's be clear here again. This is Monty leading the project. Monty is an animator, not a writer.
Yeah,
Having him sit there and write the lore to his animations about why these fights are happening, we can all see how poorly that turned out.
Yeah, they should have hired a writer.
And all I'm saying is that they could have saved all. Oh, not all. 75% of the lore could have come from these VTubing streams, and the rest of the lore could have come from the Monster a Day fights and the justification as to why the fight's happening. And it would have been a massive hit. And you know why it would have been a massive hit? Because back in that day, Rooster Teeth was still the big name, and they got where they were because they were the first at shit. Red vs. Blue was like the first machinima. Obviously, there was stuff before that, but that was, as far as everyone's concerned,
it was the first one that was successful.
Well, successful in a business sense, sure, but it was also, before it was a business, Red vs. Blue was super fucking popular.
Yes,
It was the
entertaining.
first that was popular.
And like I said, as far as anyone's concerned, Red vs. Blue was the first machinima. It's like saying Windows was the first operating system. Sure, there was operating systems before that, but as far as anyone's concerned, Windows was the first.
This is a string of cursed words.
It is. But that's just how it is, you know?
That doesn't make it less cursed.
You're correct. And Rooster Teeth was known for that shit, you know? They were known for being the first, like, they were the first people who made a fucking business out of recording videos in Halo 2 and adding some dubbed commentary onto them. And you're really... Yeah, they could have totally pulled off the EN VTuber thing.
Yeah, like I said the other day, if they'd have done that instead of the whole having Jeff and whoever else do their playing games and talking on the actual, video, if they shot the game and then animated in the characters and did voiceovers, then yeah, that would absolutely work.
Yeah, I mean, like...
Oh, yeah, no, if they'd made Jeff the first VTuber, that would have gone, like...
And, like, it wouldn't even be restricted to Team Ruby. This would have been a way for them to be like, alright, so we're gonna go all in on this new property, guys. And, this is a dude who's just, he lives in Vale. And, he's gonna comment sarcastically on events that happen in Ruby and play video games and make jokes about them.
Or, okay, we're bringing in Team Juniper for the day, or...
Yeah,
like I was talking the other day.
Yeah.
Oh, Salem when our Cinder was on and kicking their asses, so they complained to Ozpin or somebody to get him to.
There's so much you could have done with that. Like, they could have stuck to their machinima roots, gone with a half machinima, half live shit. it would have worked. It would have worked because they would have been the first. There would be no one else to compare them to, and they were well liked back then, so people would have just been like, "Oh, this is good. It's creative. It's new. It's different." And it would have worked. And then we would have had fucking Gura the shark goddess.
I mean, it's entirely possible that Gur would never have gotten a chance.
No, 100,000%. No, absolutely. I really doubt any of the EN VTubers would be VTubers if Rooster Teeth had done it back in 2012.
But
So what I'm hearing is we're in the better timeline.
We're in the worst timeline, to be honest.
But there are some bright spots to the worst timeline.
Yeah, exactly. We're in the worst timeline because A, Monty's dead.
Oh.
B, Rooster Teeth, a group of friends who used to be this hilarious bunch of characters that every other guy group of friends looked up to as like we could have totally done that, boys. And then we'd all shake our heads and be like, yeah, we could have, man. Now they've turned into a soulless husk that's being meat puppeted by a giant corporate conglomerate with every founding member either dead or scattered to the winds with a packet full of money.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They went well.
I was going to say, they are so gone. Not that I blame any of them. They took their money and ran.
Red vs. Blue was only good in the first few seasons. Well, again, that's because they got popular from being a group of funny people, not for being good writers, and because they tried to take Red vs. Blue in a more story-based direction when none of them could write a story. Didn't matter, though. Look, man, fucking seasons 6, 7, and 8 had some amazing animation going for it, and boy, did I see more people talking about Red vs. Blue during those years than I had before.
Wasn't that when Monty came aboard?
Yes.
Actually, it wasn't season 6, the end of that specifically where he came aboard.
8.
It's like, it goes, no, I think it was 6.
No, it was season 6.
No, it was 6?
Like,
Yeah,
it was the fight with the meta where it goes from the normal shit to all of a sudden, oh my god, I recognize those moves. That's Monty.
No, you said
Well,
ended.
I,
No, that's not where Monty stopped animating.
no, they brought Monty in for like, I'm pretty sure it was 6 or 7, and the big reveal was, oh hey, cool, here comes the Jeep.
Yeah, that's what I
Wait,
said. He
that's not-
animated 6, 7, and 8.
Well, bits of it.
Well, yes, but I mean, I think
Parts.
8 was the big one specifically because they told him if that he finished 8, they would let him do Ruby.
Yeah.
I don't think that's how that went.
No,
You know, I
no,
think
it
they
was
did Ruby before that.
it was after you finish. I think it was after you finish 8. You can go and
Well,
do your thing.
According to the the apprentice letters. According to the apprentice letters, that's what it was internally.
Oh, because everything that Monty talked about on podcast was, I went to Bernie with a transforming scythe animation. That was it, and he immediately greenlit it.
Yeah, well,
I don't know if that sounds like
That may-
Bernie or not.
That may be some.
No,
example.
no. Bernie was
earlier
like,
to
"This is
Bernie,
cool, but
absolutely.
we have to do other shit."
yeah, and that's what the apprentice letter said. Is basically Bernie was like, "Look, that's great. You're passionate about it, but we need this to be finished animated. And if you can finish animating it in time, you can spend the rest of your time working on Ruby. And if you have something for us by the time that Rooster Teeth Con comes around, then we'll do it."
And then he pulled some Black Company shit and turned that out real fast.
Yeah, basically. Emulating the Japanese in the worst and best of ways.
He went back to his roots.
Salem VTuber would have been popular. It would have been funny because you could have had the final Salem fight start with a Salem live stream where she's live streaming her playing a game, and then an explosion happens in the background and it turns into the episode.
It's Ruby.
And it's Team Ruby kicking her door down.
We tracked you down based on your IP, and we came for you when you started streaming.
Like, you could have literally gone with some
Literally
actual
swatted.
genuine humor there. So many potential.
Aha! You see, Salem, I've been insert the name of biggest donator here all along.
Wait, you gave
Oh,
me
no.
thousands of dollars? Yes.
That was awesome.
Absolutely fucking worth it.
You
We
got all them
used
out of my
them-
carpet.
We used it to follow the bank traces to find out where you were. That's actually pretty smart of you.
That's incredibly evil.
I like
That sounds
that
like something I
music.
would do.
But you still gave me thousands of dollars. That's where you're wrong. We countered each claim. So that's where it's been going.
Oof.
Jesus, what the fuck did you link? Fucking Slime, Devil's a Part-Timer, Legend of Zelda, Toho, UQ
I'm
sorry?
Older,
Stop
No
looking
Game,
at it.
No Life, Full
Stop
Metal
reading
Alchemist,
it.
Street Fighter, Kobayashi, Super Smash Brothers, Blue Dragon, Dragon Ball, Xenoblade, Digimon, RE0, Sonic the Hedgehog, Soul Eater sequel, Soul Eater, Sword Art Online, Rise
Now
of the
read
Shield
those last
Hero,
three tags.
I'm a Spider, So What?
Now read those last three tags.
Yes, and so that's the story tags. And so these are the user tags. Underage, Futanari, Lolicon. Summary of the story.
Jesus fuck.
My attempt at doing a question and answer fic.
What the
The
actual
fuck?
fuck?
Wait.
There is
I'm
not a
dead.
deep enough hell.
I really want to know why the author thinks Lolicon and Futanari is relevant to a question and answer fic.
Maybe it's how they feel about those things.
No. I don't want to know. I don't want to dive into it. No.
Oh,
Completely
God.
understandable.
Anyway, so my point being is that despite a million people on Steam playing it, Baldur's Gate 3 has no fan fiction for it. And I doubt there will be any. Because Gen Z is fucking illiterate, and the rest of us just aren't going to write fan fiction for Baldur's Gate because we're just going to play our fan fiction in Baldur's Gate and then leave it at that.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say something to the contrary, but I mean, I'm literally running Dwarf Slayer right now, so.
Exactly. So yeah, do we have any crossovers for Baldur's Gate? Oh god. Of course, Neverwinter Nights.
Yes, Neverwinter Nights, the other game that involves a copious amount of.
Pain and suffering.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm so glad I didn't get into NWN.
NWN was one of the 4 games I had access to for a large portion of my childhood.
I'm sorry.
It should come to no one's surprise that I figured out 2 things. New Game Plus is hilarious. Every game should have New Game Plus. And then the third thing I figured out was how to cheat it. Because
Of course.
in NWN, your character could be imported between games. And while you could play modded maps, you couldn't bring anything from one campaign that was not in the next campaign you're importing your character into, so more often than not, a majority of your equipment wouldn't carry over. But if you gave your character a ring of many shapes, adding 999 Druid Wild shape charges,
Oh no.
Oh no.
this would carry over Because Ring of Many Shapes is in every single campaign because it's part of the default loot table. So your modified Ring of Many Shapes will still carry over because its base requirement is loaded into every single campaign. As well, the one-handed club is also loaded into every single campaign. So your big stick of hidden things plus 99 can also be brought into every campaign. You can see where this is going.
That's
You'd have to
pretty
be pretty
obvious.
fucking stupid to not see where it's going.
10-year-old me thought I was hilarious and very clever and witty, and now every situation could be solved by turning into a red dragon.
Yeah, imagine.
How well did that go for you?
Great, actually. I had a lot of fun. Turns out every situation can be solved by turning into a greater red dragon.
But what if there's just a horny red dragon?
I mean,
Is that a solution you want?
If she's hot. I mean, she's a red dragon. She's hot by default.
I'm not saying anything.
Boo.
There will be 1,000 fics on AO3 of Baldur's Gate 3 characters fucking each other up the ass, becoming trans, and saying ACAB in 3 months. Maybe.
Probably.
I don't... Okay, so I'm gonna be real. I don't really count those as fanfiction. Because for fanfiction to be fanfiction, I have 2 requirements for fanfiction. Requirement 1 is you are a fan, and requirement 2, it's fiction. And then I guess the hidden requirement 3 is that you combine requirements 1 and 2. And you have to be a fan of the fiction.
That's not hidden. I mean, it's pretty much just plainly stated.
Yeah, well, you'd be surprised how hard that is for some people. Yeah, but you know what? Let's get into the fan fiction, gentlemen. What the fuck? That's a LobCorp story, but why is it in this section?
LobCorp, what?
Yeah, Lobotomy Corporation. Why is it in the Ruby section?
I don't want to know.
Oh, it's in the Ruby section because Team Ruby and Team Juniper replace all of the LobCorp named characters.
Why?
I don't know. So the author can get more clicks on their story, obviously. I mean, that's the only reason why. The sad thing is they have 300 follows. 52 chapters. 20k words. They literally have 500 word chapters. In the wrong
Jesus.
section. Yeah, this is fucking garbage. Jesus Christ. Ruby Volume 4 Redo. Team Ruby struggles being apart for some time. Well, that's your first mistake. Honestly, any redux of Ruby that involves Team Ruby miraculously splitting up and going in different directions for no clear reason is just as bad as the original. Like, oh, you gotta come with us, Weiss. You gotta go back to your abusive family. Oh, but I don't want to. Well, if you don't, we'll beat you up and take you back. What? Okay, alright. I'll go back. What?
Why would they create that?
That's canon.
I know. I still hate it. I hate that it's canon. Why is it canon?
I don't know. Because they needed an excuse to break Team Ruby up for some fucking reason. Despite the show being called Team Ruby.
Something fake drama.
Literally, though. They're just like, oh yeah, Blake? Oh yeah, she just abandons Yang casually. Well, this fits completely with Blake's whole thing. And honestly, Blake running away after the events of Season 3 and then Team Ruby chasing after Blake like Naruto after Sasuke would honestly be a good season as Blake works through her issues and learns to stop abandoning everything the second things turn bad.
Impossible task.
Look, I realize I'm asking for a lot here, but I'm just saying that being the idea of Season 4 instead of this horseshit Team Ranger stuff would have been a better Season 4.
You know what also would have made a better Season 4? Literally anything else.
Beat me to it.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. But, you know.
Shouldn't have said it.
Oh no, it's okay to say we're all thinking it.
Yeah, we're all thinking it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, Blake randomly abandoning Yang, you know, that girl who has major abandonment issues, who also then gets abandoned by Weiss and Ruby after she loses her arm when she finds out her mom abandoned her because she wasn't strong.
Yes.
And she fixated on Blake for some reason instead of her own half-sister.
No mental trauma resulted from this. Absolutely no mental trauma resulted from this
like
at all.
She's completely codependent on Blake because that's who she latched onto.
Don't worry, absolutely no mental trauma resulted from this event. She was lesbian before this happened.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it would have been interesting if they literally said, hey, your whole reason for liking me is only because I helped you in a point of this.
Yeah, it would have been like a real wild take to have a realistic conversation happen between two characters.
But no, gay.
But this is RT, so no.
Yeah, but this is modern RT, so we can't have that here.
That kind of reminds me of. Go on. I was just reminded how I was watching an old review, like that was like fairly comprehensive on like on V1 and 1 through 3.
Yeah.
And they brings up a point about how like V1 Weiss was super racist.
Yeah.
And then in V2 they basically act like that was never a fucking thing.
Yeah.
That she wanted to escape that whole shadow her father created. It's like, Jesus Christ, RT, be consistent.
Consistency and RT
Consistency from RT?
Well, you have to understand, Aura, there was a 6-month time gap between season 1 and 2, so her character changed behind the scenes.
Don't worry, it happened off screen.
It happened off screen. And you see, she went full circle, where she started beating people up in the name of anti-racism. Oh.
I make a joke about White Wolf developers, but I don't feel like I should.
No, you probably shouldn't. No. No, you probably shouldn't. Anyway, so on their own, each member has been forging their own way out of the shadows of the adversary. What adversary?
The who?
In season 3, they didn't know anything yet. Meanwhile, a group of ex-huntsmen calling themselves the Black Vipers emerge from the shadows and are determined to take vengeance. Vengeance for what?
Oh, fucking no.
So fucking dumb.
Oh, I gotta go gamers.
Oh, God. Ruby Arkham Origins? What?
Huh?
In the first year, Team Juniper lost John to a grim attack on a routine mission. It was a milk run. And he died.
Damn it. Stop taking the intro for ME2 and rewording it.
As both the remnants of his team and Team... What do you mean the remnants of Team Ruby?
What happened to Team Ruby?
What happened to
Well,
Team
I mean,
Ruby?
They remain, right? They are remnants.
What?
He's making a remnant joke, I guess.
I guess.
I honestly don't know either.
Anyway, Team Ruby struggled to move on even to the second year. Team Ruby struggling to move into the second year? What, in terms of graduation? What the fuck? Team Ruby? The team of prodigies and terrorists? Remnant 2 reminds me of Mass Effect 3, a solid game with a terrible ending. Yeah. Man, Remnant 2's ending was fucking dog shit. Holy shit.
And then Mass Effect, BioWare, excuse me, saw that everyone hated their ending and so told them, fuck you, we're doing it again.
And then released the Citadel, and everyone just considered the Citadel the canon ending of Mass Effect 3, and then BioWare started screaming and shitting themselves.
Aye. That's about what happened.
And then they released Andromeda because fuck their buyers.
Yeah, that was not. Honestly, again, Andromeda was actually a good, mechanically enjoyable game.
It had solid gameplay, yes. I can't deny that. The story was
So
alright.
fucking bad. Okay, it was like a 6 out of 10 story, but like coming off of Mass Effect, and it's like if this was an original game, if this wasn't called Mass Effect, if this was just called Andromeda, and it's like, you know, humanity sent out this spaceship from like when they first started making space travel a thing, and it finally arrived in the Andromeda galaxy 10,000 years later, and you have to gather up the remnants of the survivors to fight the alien menace. I'll just be like, alright, so cool, it's basically like Stargate Atlantis, except it's a video game. Alright, I'm down for that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but no, they're like Mass Effect, so it's like, okay, so I'm expecting a Mass Effect story here, and that's not what I fucking got. But yeah, the characters were like a 3 out of 10, the story was like a 6 out of 10, and the gameplay mechanics was honestly like a 7 or 8.
And the character design intentionally got nerfed from
So fucking
about
bad.
a 6 or 7 down
To like a
2.
1, yeah.
1 or 2. For that glorious ESG score, buddy.
The entire final world of Remnant 2 was terrible. Yeah. I mean, it was just a bunch of mini-bosses, one really obnoxious mini-boss, and then the final boss, which was... Honestly, I liked the mechanics of the final boss of Remnant 2. I thought that shit was cool. They really played into the whole code thing. I thought that was neat as fuck. Everything else around that fight sucked shit. Max, do you care about spoilers at all?
No,
Okay.
not really. I feel like that would be like spoiling a Dark Souls game. I'm gonna be real. There's not much point.
Okay, that's fair. First phase was okay, second phase was terrible. Yeah, second phase was dog shit, but I liked the idea of the second phase. I also liked the third phase. Third phase was kind of cool. It's more like second phase 2.5, but, you know, whatever. So basically, the ending is... So, the story is, remember Clementine, the really obnoxious Mary Sue?
At the
Can you
start
be
of the
more
game?
specific?
So at the start of the game, not the
Right.
black chick that saves you, but the Asian chick that saves you and then berates you. And then gets into an
the one that
argument.
was
Yeah.
the one that was kind of bipolar.
Yes, the bipolar one, yeah. The bipolar woman, yeah.
Yeah,
That
Not a-
doesn't narrow
not a
it
fan
down.
of
Yeah, so anyway,
it narrows it down quite a bit. There's like 6 NPCs that matter in that game.
Yeah, pretty
maybe.
much.
And
So
half of them are
basically,
swap NPCs.
Basically. The plot is of Remnant 2 that after the argument that she has with Ford, you know, you go down, Ford talks about the giant crystal with you, it reactivates, he disappears into it, Clementine's like, surprise, I was secretly following you guys the whole time. Is this the giant crystal that he would never let me touch? Holy shit, it's been here the whole time. And then she gets sucked into it, and you're like, oh no, I have to save her. I guess because I'm not a terrible fucking human being, but like that's really the only motivation I have, because all she's been to me so far is an utter bitch. But I mean, she was screaming in terror when she got sucked up by the giant crystal. So I guess I'll look for her.
By the way, fun thing about that entire sequence. Ford's like, don't worry, I know how to use the crystal, it disappears. She touches it, nothing happens until there's a sudden break in the Matrix, we'll call it.
Oh.
And then somehow, our average Joe Schmo knows how to use the crystal like Ford?
Yes, so effectively, yeah, so the secret behind the crystal is that it binds itself to one person. But Ford figured out how to jailbreak it.
Oh yeah, that sounds like the kind of thing we need to jailbreak. Great idea.
Yes, and so the reason why you're able to use the crystal is because it bound itself to you as the new owner. So congratulations, you're now immortal and can never die.
Wait, did Ford Alt F4 himself?
No, he activated pseudo mode.
Oh, neat.
Oh. So he took a Windows system, said fuck this, and reinstalled Linux.
It was always running Linux. No, more like it was always on Linux, and just a really obscure version of Linux that for some reason required a nuclear reactor to be attached to it at first, but now it doesn't need that anymore.
Oh, Temple OS.
Yeah, effectively. Also, only like 2 people understood how to use it, and one of them was getting telepathic messages from the core of reality from a corrupted virus that was infecting everything. Yeah, so by the way, reality is a code system. Everything's the Matrix. It's funny you said glitch in the Matrix because, yeah. Reality is based on code, and the labyrinth you go to is like the operating system around the core code, and the root has infected the core code. It's why it's called the root, and it's like a virus because it assimilates or destroys everything, and you have to destroy it. And so yeah, blah blah blah, you search for Clementine, you kill a creature. At the end of the world run, it drops this like weird code segment, and you unlock the labyrinth, you go into the labyrinth, you find Clementine, this giant eyeball comes over, he's basically like Clippy, and he's like, hey, you found a code segment, would you like some help with restoring reality?
Nah.
Yes, please.
And you're not really given a choice because the root is actively winning, and so you kind of have to say yes. But anyway, he's like, yeah, so basically what you have there is a segment of the index. The index gives me admin permissions, and once I have admin permissions, I can quarantine the root and reset the operating system of reality so that everything can go back to normal and we're not being invaded by the root everywhere now.
You need to use admin to out-admin the base default root admin. No, that's not how it works.
Don't worry, this is the secret super admin that the creator built into the system.
You mean root? That is literally root.
No, this is the secret root.
This is the root of root.
Super root.
Yes, super root.
Fuck off.
And so you go to the other 2 worlds, you collect their segments, you bring it back. The keeper, the giant eyeball guy, is like, hey, cool, you brought the segments, the index is now complete. Okay, and then you go to the final world, and it's like, alright, so you have to go kill Root, and while Root's dead, we're going to use super Root privileges to quarantine Root. It's like, okay. And so you get to the final world, And it's like, okay, what the fuck is this? This looks like Earth. And it's like, actually, you see there's 2 Earths. One Earth, the one that you're from, is the real Earth. The other Earth is the Earth that lost to the Root. And despite you beating the Root in the first game and preventing Root from resurrecting, actually, because they won in an alternative universe, they still got core access.
But then, wouldn't the fact that they could win in an infinite number of universes means you're turbo fucked?
We're getting to that.
Oh!
We're getting to that. So you go through, you beat the boss, and he's like fucking... So the boss's phases is amazing. So the first phase, he's just, okay... They're not amazing. They were cool. I liked them. They were decent. They had good mechanics-ish. A good amount of timing and understanding patterns. It wasn't hard. The first phase was super easy. And you kill the boss and you're like, well, that was super easy. And then the boss starts having a seizure after it died. And you're like, oh no. And it rips itself in half. And then it starts shooting lasers at you. And you're like, oh no! Then the Matrix kicks in and reality distorts, and now you're in the Matrix world of simulation realm, and you have to fight it in this second stage sort of shit. And once it gets down to half health in phase 2, it starts glitching between the 2 realities. And its attack patterns change to fit the reality it's in.
No.
It's cool. It's a cool idea. The execution, fucking dog shit.
I mean, yeah, that sounds like a cool idea if you were doing some, I don't know, parallel world game bullshit. This just sounds kind of meh.
So anyway, you beat it in phase 2, and the Keeper and Clementine run in, and they're like, oh, by the way, Clementine opens up the Root's hidden core, because she's just so special, she's able to counter the Root entirely by cracking open the shell, protecting it.
Fuck off.
But it's gonna take all her power, so she just can't help you during the fight. Yeah. So anyway, Clementine and the Keeper run in, and the Keeper's like, "Oh no, it's worse than I thought. You can't kill the Root." And then the screen pans back to the fucking Root boss, and he's like seizuring around and glitching in and out, and like other versions of Root energy is coming in, restoring him. And he's like, there's too much corruption. It's spread too far to too many things. We can't quarantine it anymore.
We just need to shoot him again.
Well, yes.
Lots more.
So anyway, the Keeper goes on to be like, well, there's only 2 outcomes now. We have the outcome of the Root assimilates everything and annihilates us all, or we have to do a full reset and restart the system from the beginning. And our main character's like, wait, that kills everyone. I don't like that. And then Clementine, the Mary Sue that she is, goes, no, Keeper, your options suck. I'm gonna choose my option, which is kill everyone. And then she kills everyone, and that's the end of the game.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Like everyone?
Yeah, so basically she grabs the index and is like, I have super Root access now! Die, Root! And then she deletes everything and absorbs it all into her body. So a woman is the center of the universe now. And
She's also the one that got everyone killed.
yeah, it's like this whole like 3-minute cinematic where it shows every world and every character we've met, and they all slowly dissolve into these white motes, which then float into her body.
Fuck.
And then our character dissolves into white motes and floats into her body.
Fuck off.
And
No.
that's the end of the story.
No.
Yeah. Like, game mechanic wise, great. Fucking loved it. Holy shit, game mechanics so fun. I have like 200 hours in the goddamn game. It's been out for like.
Is there an alternate ending where you can kill this bitch?
No. That is the only ending. Assumedly, assumedly the DLCs they're gonna release, because they are gonna release 3 story DLCs. Assumedly, that's gonna bring more story. That's gonna explain the ending or change it, hopefully. I mean, they did a good job with the first game in terms of DLCs, so I'm hoping they'll do a good job with the second game. But like, the mechanics great. I loved the gameplay. I loved the armor. I loved the weapons. I love the powers. I think all of this really well executed. The bosses are mostly fun, and honestly, it was kind of cool because there's a boss right before the final boss that you first get elements of the glitching occurring, where the fight's pretty normal, but then once the boss gets to half HP, it starts glitching out, and its attack patterns either accelerate or slow down. And like, it has this whole visual effect happen to it, and then it either slows down or speeds up. And fuck that guy. Yeah, fuck that guy. Yeah, no, 100%. Gray and I were stuck on him for like 3 hours. But honestly, it's a good game because you had elements of glitching throughout the world. Yeah, you did, but honestly, they really only put it into practice in the second to final boss, in the penultimate boss. There was glitching going on elsewhere, but it wasn't really like a this is part of the fight sort of thing. Yeah, the boss, aptly named Cancer, glitches out and speeds up while charging at you. Yeah, he was fucking Cancer. Overall, I mean, even though the bosses were hard, I had fun with them. They were good. I liked it. It's a good game as well because you can go back and fight the same boss again, now with your souped up items and your better build and, you know, your powers leveled up and all that, and you can fight the boss again, and you can be like, holy shit, and you kill the boss, and you're like, oh god, I'm doing so much better now. So you get to have that good feeling. So I mean, honestly, I like the game overall. Like I said, it has great fodder for making a crossover story out of it. But it's that story sucks shit. That story was fucking terrible. I hated almost all of the NPCs. They all sucked. So anyway. Oh, by the way, I figured out while I was talking, Atin. Ruby Arkham Origins is exactly what you think it is.
Oh no.
It's literally just Batman, but what if Ruby?
That's incredibly stupid. I do want to take one moment to say some nice things about Baldur's Gate 3.
No, what's that?
They are having us meet like the important characters. Like they're having us meet important world characters pretty early on.
That's fair.
And everybody else is like, holy shit, it's ABC.
Right.
How are you not freaking out? It's ABC, right? Like you run into Volo early on and they're like, that's Volo. And your character who's lost their mind who's had their memory eaten by, you know, the worm. Who? How the fuck do you not know Volo?
Volo's Guide to Everything.
Or like one specific character, the wizard you get, Sneaky.
Yeah.
So he, like many of the more powerful wizards in Faerun, at some point banged Mistra. This does not make you a member of a special club. Frankly, it makes you a member of the average wizard population who can cast, tier 6 spells.
And you also have to check yourself for magical STDs.
Yes.
Oof.
You
think I'm joking about that one?
We're not. Oh, and
not.
by the way, don't piss Mistra. Don't get too lippy with Mistra, or she'll make you become a woman for 10 years.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, to be fair, Elminster seemed to have enjoyed part of that, so
it wasn't really a punishment for him.
Elminster was just like, oh, I can work with this.
Yeah.
And Mistra's sitting up in the sky, just angrily staring down.
This one motherfucker.
No, honestly, this one motherfucker just applies to Elminster just in general.
Just every moment of existence, this one motherfucker can in fact be applied to Elminster. But anyway, so the dude fucked around with some netherese shit, and he may or may not turn into a giant black hole if he dies.
Based?
Yes. Now, obviously, someone magically turning into a giant black hole is a bit of a concern for Mistra.
Sure.
So when your character when the guy goes missing between the realms, what does she do? She goes to her most respected and beloved errand boy, Elminster's words, and sends him out to find him.
Nice.
And Elminster is being Elminster. Like, he's like, I have been searching for you for a 10-day. I am not telling you anything until I get something decent to eat. But Mister sent you to find me, and I found you. Now I want a meal.
Yeah.
And the best part is,
yeah.
the best part is, you can absolutely just play along with Elminster to fuck with the dude. Like, yeah, come on. Gale, where are your banners? We should feed Elminster. Also, our character may or may not be smart enough to be like, no, I don't remember much, but I remember not to fuck with old wizards.
Indeed. Now, I will say, I want to play Baldur's Gate 3. I will pick up Baldur's Gate 3 at some point.
I was going to say, for you, I would say wait for it to be on sale. I've just been jonesing for a good CRPG.
I know, I'm just saying, it is a Larian game. The two of us know exactly how Larian game do.
Yep.
And about a year into it being released, they're going to come out with some mega ultra patch that'll have fixed all the problems and fix the co-op and patch the bugs and rebalance the classes to not be garbage.
There's some weird choices they've made with like feats and stuff. Overall,
I love Larian. They make fun games.
They make fun games
in the first year.
Games that are fun at launch, but are a lot better a year after they come out.
Yeah, they're great at launch, and then you actually get into the weeds of some of the mechanics, and you're kind of just like, but why? And then Larian comes out about a year later, and they're like, that's a fair point. Let's fix that.
Like, just one that I've run into as being a rogue, right?
Yeah.
So the assassin subclass, right? They kept it exactly the same.
Based.
Anyone who's surprised, you auto-confirm crits against.
Nice.
However, there's one, and they actually gave you something really cool, made specifically to make it work better in a CRPG setting, which is that if you initiate combat without the enemy knowing you're there, it refunds all your actions.
Okay.
Right, to just make it that. But there's only one downside. They don't count as surprised when you hit them the first time. They have to gain the surprised status, at which point you will then auto-confirm all your crits. Now, this isn't a huge problem because they refund all your AP.
Yeah.
But you have to toggle your sneak attack, because it will use the sneak attack automatically, and you can only sneak attack once per round.
Right.
And it's just like, I'm not crazy about that.
Yeah, like I said, they usually come out a year in. They're like, yeah, so guys, it was dumb of us. Sneak attack
But I
is
do
now
want to say,
autoed. Yeah.
I want to give them a little bit of praise. This has all the hallmarks of some of the best D&D games because my utility spells are what I'm using a shitload of my spell slots on.
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
Like, listen. To anyone playing Baldur's Gate 3 that can hear the sound of my voice, if you do not have a wizard with both Featherfall and Jump, you are doing exploration wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They are the single most useful abilities. Period.
Now, I will say, because this is a video game and not a tabletop, how do they handle spell refresh?
Long rests. You can, anytime that you are not in combat,
Yeah.
you can hit the go to camp button.
Okay.
Anywhere, anytime that isn't combat. They also give you 2 short rests per long rests, and you just hit the button. So you hit the camp. There's a whole button for camp.
Right. Does go to camp move your character, or do you appear back where you were after you leave camp?
No, so it moves you into a magical hammer space that is in some way based on the map you're on.
Okay.
And then when you leave camp, you are immediately back where you were standing.
Okay, good. Okay,
so
good.
there's no question about that.
And it doesn't cost anything?
No.
Okay, good.
Well, no, you do have to have supplies to long rest. You have to have like food, but it's pretty easy to get. Like, you just opening every random fucking box, you'll get a fucking dickload of food.
Right. A, does food expire? B, do merchants?
No.
Okay.
Food never expires.
Merchants
you will
refresh.
find food that is already rotten.
Okay.
But like that's like food that's already rotted. It won't rot in your inventory. And merchants sell something even better for food for like 40 gold. They sell a pack, which is 40 supplies, and you need 80 to rest.
And do merchants refresh inventory, or is that just once and done?
Oh yeah, no. They refresh like every.
Okay, good. Okay, so yeah,
I think they refresh pretty much every time you take a long rest.
My issue with games like that, especially you remember old Larian games where it's like this is the merchant's inventory and then that's it forever, period. So if you don't have a healer,
one thing that's a little disappointing to me is that items don't appear to be loot doesn't appear to be randomized. But that's both good and bad, right? In some way, right? Dude, I found this thing. It's super useful, right? I found X item at Y place. It's very useful for what you want to do. Go get it, etc., etc. I do like that. It's kind of a 50-50 coin toss. I want to say something. I don't mean any rudeness to Owlcat games. But playing Baldur's Gate 3 has reminded me who has the better engine. Not necessarily who has a better grasp.
100%.
Not necessarily who has a better grasp of translating tabletop mechanics to a video game, right? Owlcat has opted for a somewhat more mechanically clunky but more faithful recreation of the mechanics, and sometimes that's good and sometimes that's bad.
And you know, you say faithful and it's like sort of faithful because some of those sliders made no fucking sense and there was a whole lot of shit they did in the background to make it really fucking dumb. And honestly, I wanted to like Owlcat games and stuff. I really genuinely did, but I found out shit like, oh, playing it on hard doesn't make the NPCs more competent. It just adds plus 16 to all their rolls, and it's like,
that's the kind of stuff that's annoying. So I will say, one thing that I like about what Larian did. So playing on the highest difficulty,
right?
There are more enemies. They're more intelligent with what they do. Bosses, generally not your average goon.
Right.
But bosses generally have +1 or +2 to their AC.
That's good.
That's it.
Yeah.
They do not get bonuses to their hit.
Yeah, because it was so fucking dumb. Because on the hardest difficulty in Owlcat's games, it was +16 AC and +16 to hit. So you always missed, and they always hit you. And it's just like, what horse shit is this?
They did a lot to. I will say they did a lot to fix that in Wrath of the Righteous. The only time I encountered enemies that I couldn't hit with a physical attack in Wrath of the Righteous, it was, oh, go look at their resistances. It's
Right.
stuff like,
Right.
oh, they have dog shit touch AC,
Right.
or they have like terrible resistances.
Right, no, and yeah, but I think what a lot of people forget when it comes to translating D&D inspired, etc. games into a video game format is part of the balancing mechanics of these tabletop games is the DM behind the scenes looking at the team and being like, okay, you know, they have a ranger, a fighter, another ranger, and a rogue. I am not going to throw the incorporeal ghost at them that can only be wounded by holy magic.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the kind of thing, right? And I will say that one thing that I personally turned it off, but something that's great if you're looking to play with a slightly easier set of conditions and you're annoyed about getting RNG fucked, and this is a setting that I think Gray should immediately turn on and never leave off. They have a thing called Karmic Dice. Karmic Dice just prevents you from failing too many times in a row.
Oh, that's fair.
It won't. It's they used to have a setting for the original incarnation was there to try and even out your luck, but this had the problem of accidentally punishing you for being lucky.
Right.
And so they're like, yeah, you know what? We didn't want to punish people for getting lucky, right? We didn't want people to be like, oh no, I'm getting so lucky. I need to go and have some failures.
Yeah, I need to go and do something that I don't care about so I can roll dice to get bad rolls so I can, yeah.
Right. So
yeah.
all this does is prevent you from like, okay, right? And here's the thing, right? I personally turned it off because you know what? Sometimes you're playing D&D and y'all just can't roll above a fucking 10 as a party collectively. And the boss beats your ass.
I've had those games.
But here's the thing. That's part of the fun of D&D, but one of the things that D&D lets you do that isn't an option in a CRPG is the boss wiped us, roll up new characters.
Yeah, I mean, there is that problem in that tabletops, again, the DM's there to moderate it, but also tabletops do come with that culture of just being like, yeah, you're going to spend a lot of time on this, but you're not spending time on the campaign of the D&D game so much as you're spending time on playing D&D in general.
Yeah.
And so when your character dies, old D&D culture was like, all right, well, I'll just make a new one. And like you're not so much attached to your character as you are attached to playing with the group you're playing with.
Now, there were times right? Maybe you weren't the most clever RPer, or maybe you wanted to keep a character around for story reasons, so you brought the character back as something. Or your friends went on the in-game party dynamic was good, and they went, oh no, Henderson died. Let us go and
resurrect him,
complete the quest to resurrect Henderson.
Yeah.
Right? Or the one time the druid was there and was useful with reincarnation, but oops, the grumpy dwarf is now a hot elf woman, right?
Yeah, Bayo knows all about that.
Which, and by the way, I want to point out, reincarnation can be one of the funniest things for a party if people are willing to roll with it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, and 100%. It's the funniest shit when you actually roll with it.
And personally, as a DM, I believe that it's okay to rig reincarnation for comedy.
Yeah. No, that's another thing is I'm perfectly fine with DMs putting their finger on the scales as long as it's to make the game more fun for the players.
Yes, and I want to be clear. Sometimes that means the party losing.
Yes.
Or the boss not going down, right? Because
and now to be
set
fair,
a whole encounter up for my players.
Yeah.
And it was a boss, and they'd gone through like a 3-floor dungeon. I'd made them do a little Metroidvania puzzle with beating mini bosses to get colored keys, and they helped free like a powerful wizardess who was trapped in a crystal prison, and she's like, we have to purge the evil. I'll help you with this.
Right.
And they got like 3 or 4 crits in a row.
Right.
And it's like, well, shit, the boss is gonna die. So I just kind of So what did I do? I had the boss cast Dimension Door out, and I had the wizard. Oops, the wizardess rolled a 1 on the counter spell.
Right. No, yeah, I get you, and I'm fine with putting the thumb on the scales if it's in the favor of players. Usually, what I don't like and what Ricky did was putting thumb on the scales to make the NPCs hit you.
Was Ricky that one DM that you
No.
that really didn't
No,
like?
No,
Different guy. Yeah, where he made it so that, oh yeah, I know they rolled bad behind the scenes, but I'm just gonna say they hit you because you haven't been hit yet. It's like, bro. Like that.
Yeah, now that just sounds cheap.
Yeah, it was dumb. I got pissed off at him for it, and that campaign ended.
Yeah.
Understandable.
But it's like, if the DM wants to roll behind the screen for the boss fight, I understand. Look, I get it. If this is the big boss you've been building up to, the last thing you want to do is have the boss roll 3 crits, fails in a row, stab themselves with their own sword, trip on their feet, and break their neck falling down.
Yeah, right. Or the boss casts, right? The boss goes and casts Fireball. That is 18 ones.
Yeah. It's like, that's kind of funny, but you know, it's, you gotta balance that shit. It's like, well, one session is, so Faceless, we fucking ganked the shit out of this boss, and Faceless was like, fuck. And so he came up with another boss that was hiding inside the first boss, because the first boss ate the second boss.
Was this the Gazer?
Yes.
Ah.
And so Purple Worm ate the Beholder. The Beholder had a death laser attached to it because someone decided that was a good plan. And I mean, aside from the death eye, I mean like a death annihilation beam.
Yeah.
That did like 100 D20 damage. But so, you know, we beat the Purple Worm, which we beat the Purple Worm. And so Face was like, fuck, make the Beholder come out and fight you now. And then, you know, Gray pulled off some total horseshit.
No, that's not what happened, Sneaky. What happened was Gray decided to suicide bomb the worm,
right?
Jump inside, and the Beholder was in there, and it's like, hi. So he stabbed the Beholder with like an unstable potion,
right? But that's
and that thing turned into a ball mummy.
Right, but my point is that Gray's action would have killed the boss.
Okay, yeah.
So
fair.
Faceless came up with the idea that the Beholder was inside the boss, and then Gray countered the Beholder by stabbing it in the eye with an unstable potion. Unstable potion was a special item that Faceless had given us at the start of the campaign, which came with a D8 table. One of the D8s, which is the one that Gray rolled on a critical failure to use the potion, by the way, was the fact that it was going to summon a CR5 demon. And then what Gray rolled was a critical failure on the potion, which meant that whatever negative consequence occurs from the potion, it would be ×4 worse. So Faceless, now needing a boss to actually use, was like, oh, this is a great chance, and summoned a CR20 Balrog. Which ended up TPKing the party. Or, well, effectively TPKing the party, because 3 of them got lost, separated in the Underdark, 2 of them died, and the last one got kidnapped. So, Faceless rolled with us ganking the bosses successively. Trying to fight a third boss so we could have our epic finale fight. accidentally killed the party.
Huh.
But yeah. Let's read this one last story and close it out for the night, because holy shit, this is fucking awful. Reborn into Revolution.
I'm getting
What
dinner.
if Yang, Ruby, and Weiss all had twin brothers?
But why?
What would change? Would people still die? Would other people survive? The very existence of these three self-insert OCs will forever alter the fate of not just their families, but all of Remnant. Hyper, super, giga cringe, 1.3k word chapters, 48 of them, updated over the course of the past 2 years, so fucking cringe, 44 favorites. As it deserves less. Honestly, that was fucking terrible. Completely creative death. So anyway, gentlemen, that was Tuesday. See you on Friday. Because there's always more, and it always gets worse.